Whew. So there's a lot to go over in the new patch, but where to start? Damn straight, you know I made a beeline for Astarion's romance scene. I've got some good news and some bad news about it, and nobody's going to like the bad news. But before I get into that, I will say Larian definitely made a lot of improvements to the lighting in the scene, and we're not meditating in our bedrolls anymore either, so that's good. Well, you know what? Let's just take a look, and then we'll break it down afterwards.
There you are. I've been waiting. Waiting since the moment I set eyes on you. Waiting to have you. Don't I? You're here. And I don't think you want to talk. I think you want to be known, to be tasted. What do any of us want? Pleasure. Yours, mine, our collective ecstasy. That's what you want, isn't it? To lose yourself in me. I thought so.
What the fuck? Are we back to this again? It was such a good scene. I was actually hoping we might get to see some skin this time around, and instead it's back to the under construction scene again? Fuck! Well, I guess let's keep watching. Wait a second, did you hear that? That's the sound of my Tav jumping on Astarion! And they're not showing it to me, so it's just playing in the background, damn it. The weirdest thing is that none of the options are showing, and so I'm just having to click space to make it progress without really knowing why or what I'm picking.
Sleep light. I thought you'd be exhausted after last night. How dare you? I'm a consummate lover. I was holding back, if anything, worried that I might lose control. Delicious as you were, I didn't want to go too far. Now, shall we get on? I want to go before anyone else thanks me for saving their tails. It's a poem, a gift from Cazador. He considered himself quite the artist and used his slaves as a canvas. He composed and carved that one over the course of a night. He made a lot of revisions as he went. You've seen enough already. And if I can't see it, you certainly can't. Well, I can't just check in a mirror, can I? It doesn't matter anyway. Whatever the bastard wrote, it won't change anything he did to me. Now let's go, before I regret my restraint last night.
So yeah, you guys got to see the bad news. There's no more kissing scene, no more jumping into his arms and tackling him to the ground. Nope, none of that. I'm so crushed that after waiting so long for them to put it back into the game, that they just left that whole part out. And on top of that, we didn't even get an additional love scene to go with it, so it's like double bad news. We didn't get an additional scene, we actually lost one, and I don't even understand why. What was wrong with it? I thought it was done very well. Why take it out? I'm sure they're going to put it back in at some point, but it just sucks to have it in, and then instead of making it better where we can see the progression, they just remove it. Even worse is the tease of hearing the glomp in the background. As for the rest of the scene, there are some obvious changes as well, most glaringly being that your character is no longer nude but fully dressed. It makes editing for YouTube easier, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially considering Astarion is still shirtless. I think a nice halfway point could have been to be wearing underwear and a bra, and that would at least make more sense, you know? So what else is there? The rest seems a lot like the original, except the dialogue sounds different at the end. It's hard to say if it's actually changed or not though, since I chose different dialogue options this time around. I never got to hear him say the bit about regretting his restraint last night, and I'm not gonna lie, that gave me a quiver.
Before I regret my restraint last night.
And then I resented the fact that there's no kissing scene and no love scene even more. But seriously, it looks like they made the lighting a bit more even in the initial scene, whereas in the patch 3 version there were some wonky parts where the light would suddenly turn off. And it looks like they did something to make Astarion's model look better. It just seems more polished, softer, with less hard lines to make it look more realistic. He's looking really good. The lighting in the second half of the scene is still pretty off. You know, initially I thought this was supposed to be the next morning, but the more I look at the scene, I think if that's the case, should it be so dark when the light is so bright? Perhaps it should be toned down a little so it's easier to tell what type of atmosphere was intended. The light control itself is still off in the scene, so it's obvious that it needs more work. There are still these hiccups where the light suddenly turns on, and ironically those are the times where the light looks way too stinking bright. Besides that, there's not much else to talk about, except that I'm so sorry that a lot of you guys are still chasing your Astarion romance scene. I'm hoping if anyone from Larian is watching this that they understand the absolute need and desire we all have to see this scene make some progress. It's absolutely killing me, and I have seen a lot of comments that were pretty annoyed at the bedroll problem from the previous patch, only to get to patch 4 and not be able to get their kiss. It really sucks, and you guys should prioritize getting that together because you'll make a lot of people happy. Seriously. Just trying to give you guys a little nudge in the right direction. I've got a lot of ideas for new videos coming up, but I'm having a little trouble deciding where to focus next. Is there anything in particular you guys want to see? I'm going to try to get all the new romance scenes and have also been thinking about some class guides. Obviously, people are going to be interested in the druid as well as the Speak with the Dead scenes. Let me know in the comments though what you'd like to see. I also wanted to make a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If any of you would like to join the family, you can click my Patreon link in the info section below. Every little bit helps, and you'll get access to more updates as well as unfiltered content. See you guys later!